Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Coming soon, Missing 2, Double the Suspense, Double the Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of Dave, including 30 exquisite pains and King David Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, and I'll link there at the Mike Wagner Show, 50 podcast platforms, 110 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, plus Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok today. We're here with an amazing gentleman who's an entrepreneur, AI innovator, and veteran. Basically, he's an investor who's invested in over 120 crypto-related projects and has a real estate portfolio in Las Vegas. He is a speaker, founder of Mastermind Connect Dinners, and also the 10 times Connect Dinner Club, hosts 168 dinners worldwide with business leaders and celebrities making connections over world-class meals. And he also produces live stream interviews and taking on high-profile events and more. He also got a new book, which is a guide to living a very successful, sober life. The book is called Win the Day, soon to be released, and talking about the Champion AI 2.0, live, ladies and gentlemen, plus dudes in beautiful downtown Las Vegas, the multi-talented entrepreneur, AI innovator, and veteran investor, and talk about Champion AI 2.0 and talk about the soon to be released Win the Day, the multi-talented Chris Champion. Chris, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Mike, I'll tell you, I think you've gone a little extra on the coffee today. You got a ton of energy.
Well, that's a good thing because you got to stay awake somehow. It's a 24/7, 365 society. You got to say that. So
No kidding, buddy. I like the pillow over there, buddy. You got your own pillow.
you got that right. And I'll send you a link on that afterwards. We'll talk more about that. You're an entrepreneur, AI innovator, and you're a veteran investor who invests in over 120 crypto-related projects and real estate portfolio in Las Vegas. You're a speaker, founder of Mastermind Connect Dinner Club and 10 times Connect Dinner Club, host 168 dinners worldwide, and basically with leaders, celebrities making genuine connections over world-class meals. You also produce live stream interviews with high-profile events. You've got Champion AI 2.0. You'll talk about your sooner release Win the Day. And before getting all that, Chris, tell us how I first got started.
I think I was an entrepreneur from a kid. I think entrepreneurs are born differently. I think they have I don't want to say a screw loose, but they have a unique DNA. And when I was 9 years old, I grew up in the city of Chicago, and I didn't have a bike, and all my friends had a bike, and they had a Schwinn bike too. Which, by the way, back in the day, Schwinn was the bike to get. Big banana seat, banana bars.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, we had those. That was a cool thing. Yes.
But if you didn't have one, it was shitty. It sucked. So I'm literally all summer long running around trying to keep up with my friends, and they're riding their bikes. And in May, at the end of the school year, we had a fundraiser come our way to our school, and it was Totino's Pizza, and they had us go and sell 3 packs of individual sized pizzas. They're about this big, and they're wrapped in a 3 pack. And I grew up in Chicago. Pizza's like huge in Chicago. Totino, shout out. And I wonder if they're still around, but yeah, they were great. And I remember they gave us this little sheet of paper that opened up, and inside the center of the paper was a Schwinn bike. And it
Oh,
said,
wow.
hey, if you sold this many pizzas, you got this as a prize. There was a basketball, football, volleyball net, but all I could focus on was the Schwinn bike. And I'm like, holy shit, this is my way to get a bike, a brand new bike. So I remember right away that day, I got home, I changed, and I went out door to door. And I went to 10 houses, and I had 10 people basically tell me to go fuck off.
No.
And when you're 9 years old, and you're thinking to yourself, what's wrong with these people? Don't they know it's pizza? So I went to like the 11th house, and I knew the lady there. And instead of stupid, they gave us a stupid script that we had to like read off and tell them while they're standing in front of us. And nobody wants to be read to. So I said, fuck that script. That's not even working. And I remember the 11th house like it was yesterday. I went there, and the lady opened the door, and I said, I can't remember her name, but she was a neighbor I knew. And I said, called her by her name, and I said, listen, my school's doing a fundraiser, and you got a bunch of kids, and I know you're going to eat pizza, and I don't have a bike. And I showed her the picture of the bike. I said, I'm trying to get this bike. And if you could order some pizzas They're good pizzas. I'd really appreciate it. And I remember she ordered 6 3-packs. And,
Wow. Okay.
and she like paid right away. And I was like, holy smacks, that worked. Because I thought, being honest, people would tell me to fuck off again. So I went to the
Hmm.
next house and I said, hey, I'm trying to get this bike and blah, blah, blah. I told them exactly the truth, was very transparent. And then they bought and it just kept working. And finally I realized people don't want to be read to or had a script to be basically pitched on. They want the truth. They want you to be transparent. So I went all around my neighborhood and I kept going in a circle further out because eventually I had enough sales of pizzas to get the bike. And then I got the football. And then I got the basketball. And then I got the volleyball net. I literally kept going for days till I finally crossed off every item on the sheet. Well, when we turned in our sheets along with the money and the orders, um, the lady at the school is like, this can't be right. And I'm like, why? She's like, this is insane. Nobody's ever done this before. There's no way you got this many pizza orders. I said, well, there's the money. I'm a 9-year-old kid. I'm like trying to explain that I legitimately got all the pizza orders. So the school called a bunch of the people and like, did you order pizza? And they're like, yeah, I'm trying to help Chris get a bike. They kept all saying, I tried to help Chris get a bike. And it was funny because my principal called me into the office and she said, Chris, you did something really special. And the owner of Totino's is coming by tomorrow. We're going to have when we all went to the gym area and we sat in the bleachers, we had like I don't know what it's called when it's in high school, but basically like a session where, somebody comes in and speaks to us. So the owner of Totino's comes in and teacher gives him the microphone and he's like, we've been doing this promotion for so many years, and in all of our time, we've never seen somebody do this many sales. And it turned out I did 368 sales of 3-packs of pizza. Now, to put that in perspective, the most sales anyone ever did in their promotion was 61.
Oh, wow. So you got more than a bike.
I will hear it. Okay, so I was not only motivated and hardworking, but when I was on a roll, I challenged myself. I got every item on the checklist. I got enough points and sales points. I got every item. I even gave some of the stuff away to my friends. Like I didn't want the volleyball net, so gave the volleyball net and box and ball to my friend's neighbor who had a girl. She loved it. And I kept the basketball because I love basketball, and I kept the football. But like I got a radio and I didn't want the radio, so I gave that to one of my buddies. I was like Santa Claus. I was giving all my friends stuff. But here's the crazy part. So I came up there and the owner of Totino's gave me this like big, letter saying, hey, congratulations, you've set the record. It's unbelievable, blah, blah, blah. We respect you. And he brought my bike with. And all I could do is I knew his lips were moving, but I could see my bike. And I'm like, holy fuck, that's mine. And so like literally after everyone got out of the auditorium, he said, okay, son, so now you got to deliver all these pizzas, and we got a freezer truck that's going to follow you so you don't have to literally, keep going home to get cold pizzas. And I don't know if you know this, but 368 3-packs of pizzas, that's a lot of pizza. And I'm 9 years old and I'm thinking to myself, well, nobody told me I had to deliver them. I'm like, you guys told me I had to sell them. I didn't know I had to deliver them.
Oh.
So they let us out early that day because it was like we were breaking for summer vacation. And I remember it was like noon. I ran home to 1 o'clock. And when I ran home, the pizza truck guy followed me to my house, but he had to go down different streets to get around the alley. So I just went down the alley, which was quicker. And I remember I changed and I wore like a more comfortable shirt because it was hot out. And I literally went with the truck driver. Every door, I went to every house and I delivered their pizzas. But this was like end of May, early June. I think it was like June 12th or something. So it
Mhm.
was already in Chicago pretty hot, like 95 degrees hot. And not a lot of people weren't home already at 1 o'clock. So I thought to myself, fuck, pizza's frozen. So I'm just going to put it in between their screen door and just leave it there. I'm sure they'll see it when they come home. And so me and the pizza truck guy were out till 11 o'clock at night delivering pizzas. But I
Oh,
literally got
wow.
everybody their pizzas. And the next day, I'm tired and I'm at home. And my school calls my grandmother because my grandmother raised me. and they're like screaming at her, blah, 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 blah. And my grandma said, you got to go to the school. The teacher wants to see you right now. There's a problem with the pizzas. And I
Oh
said,
no.
so I went to the school, and the owner of the pizza company's there, and he's screaming at my principal. And I'm in the lobby waiting. I'm like, what the fuck? I delivered all the pizzas. It was like till 11 o'clock at night. So I went in there, and my principal asked me, she's like, what did you do yesterday? I said, I literally went with the truck driver and we delivered all the pizzas. And she's like, no, no, no. What did you exactly do with the pizzas? I said, I went with the truck driver and I delivered all the pizzas. Finally, she asked me a third time, but she was a little more clear. She's like, did you do something with the pizzas that you didn't hand it to a human being? And I looked at her
Oh,
and I said, well, yeah, some people weren't home, so I left it in their screen door in their door so they could see it when they got home with their packages. And there were no packages back then, but like, just thought I'd leave it there where they'd see it. She's like, why did you do that? I said, because I had 368 pizzas to deliver. I mean, there were nobody was home. What am I going to do? And and then the owner of the pizza place he's like, did it ever occur to you that rats might smell the pizza and come out and like be all over their doorway? And I'm like, no, I'm 9 years old. I didn't say this at the time, but I thought to myself, but buddy, you're yelling at a 9-year-old kid who delivered your pizzas for you. Why the fuck did you give them pizzas to deliver? You should have gave these people a coupon. They can go to the store and get their own pizza.
exactly.
Long story short, that was the end of that fundraiser. They never did the pizza fundraiser again. And that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. I learned how to be self sufficient. I learned how to not count on anyone, not wait for something to fall into my lap. I learned how to hustle. I learned how to sell. I learned how to be transparent. I think salespeople inherently try to sell too much. And in reality, you don't have to sell anyone anything. If your product is X and somebody needs X, you just need to tell them truthfully what X can do for them and how much X is going to cost. And people that want it will buy it, and the other people that don't want it won't buy it. Whereas a lot of salespeople, they think that they can sell everybody X, but not everybody needs X. So if you do happen to sell somebody X that doesn't really need it or want to buy it because you do some emotional sales pitch or high pressure sales pitch, well, in this day and age, they'll probably charge back their credit card or be pissed off at you. And I learned at a very early age some very, what I consider core sales skills. And that is just be transparent with people. Just tell people, here's what I got. If you need it, this will fix your problems.
Hmm. That is a rather good point as well. And I think that's a really good advice as well, too. And also, you being an AI innovator, you also invest in 120 crypto related products as well. We'll go beyond that with Chris Champion. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at SoundCloudStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. SoundCloud Studios is the answer. SoundCloud Studios offers fast, affordable, customized designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author, Mia Molson Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson Zia has garnered great reviews. And Evil 11 Enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for goes Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon. Coming soon, Missing 2, Della Spence, Double the Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 Quiz of Pains and King David Psalms, Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner podcast. And also, the Sweet Psalmist brings new perspective David through Psalms you wrote. It's the time where shepherds started and complicate your turbulent relationship with King Saul. It's the start of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out the Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon. Keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and on Linktree at the Mike Wagner Show. 50 podcast platforms, 110 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and more. Take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com, check out the Mike Winter Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/me and Molson ZF for great books, merchandise, and more. And support the Mike Winter Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWinterShow.com. We're here with amazing multi-talent entrepreneur, AI innovator, and veteran investor Chris Champion here on the Mike Winter Show. Before we talk about your Champion AI 2.0 and your soon-to-be released win today, you've been an investor, invested over 120 crypto-related projects. And tell us more about that. How did you first get involved with crypto?
So it's an interesting story. First of all, by the way, I think you're pitching really good for the wife, and I think she should probably bake you a cake or something sometime soon.
She does it all the time for me, every day.
I'm telling you, though. By the way, those books look very interesting. Are they fiction?
That is actually an account on the Book of David, according to the Bible, his journey from birth up to his time of death and how he
What
got
about
to
the
be
other one?
king. The other one, this is a fiction. It's based on a fictional story about a guy meeting a, a, a a girl basically after the death of his girlfriend, and goes on a trek where he gets his girlfriend gets captured and hijacked by the bad guys who go all over the world trying to find out what's going on. So anyway, you can check that out. What I'll do is I'll tell everybody more about at the near broadcast. But anyway, you can go on with about you starting and everything like that. And how'd you first get started crypto?
So it's funny, 2012, 13, a friend of mine in Israel was a gamer, and he played this game called World of Warcraft. You ever hear of World of Warcraft?
Yes, I have.
So he was basically using Bitcoin to buy skins and other stuff inside the game. He needed World of Warcraft Gold, which was a token inside the game. And he asked me to buy some for him because he couldn't buy it. And I was in the States and he was in Israel. And there was something in Israel that wouldn't let him buy it. So I bought it from an exchange and I would send it to him through what's called a QT wallet. And I did it for him. And he kept explaining to me, he's like, this stuff is going to be great. It's going to be awesome. You should get some, blah, blah, blah. And I would buy a bunch and just hold it for him because I knew he'd eventually need some more and he'd PayPal me money and I'd send him more Bitcoin. Well, somehow he just fell off the planet, didn't get excited about World of Warcraft anymore. And I forgot I had like $300 worth of Bitcoin inside of what's called a QT wallet, which was a very rough wallet that was sitting on my computer. And I changed computers one year, and about a year and a half, I had my new computer, but I still had my old computer. And I'm walking by my TV in my house, and I literally hear this lady on CNBC go, and in little known cryptocurrency, Bitcoin hit $160 today. And
Oh,
I
wow.
was buying it at like $1.30, $1.50, $3. And I stopped in my tracks. I'm like, what the fuck? So I thought to myself, I had like $300 worth of that stuff. And I went looking for my other computer and I found that old computer and I found the QT wallet and I went in there and I had all my Bitcoin in there. And I thought to myself, all right, I got to see if this is real. So I tried to sell it for US dollars. And you could do it only in $5,000 increments through this app called Venmo. And so I sold some, and sure as shit, I got $5,000. And I was like, holy shit, this stuff's real. And I started digging more into it, learning more about it. And then I started realizing, I'm like, this is an interesting thing. This is not just like some idiot gaming token. And when I got more interested in it and started learning more about it, I started realizing to myself, okay, this could quite possibly change everything if it takes off. So since then, I've been involved in Bitcoin and I'm speaking at the Bitcoin conference in Fort Lauderdale tomorrow. I'm hosting a private breakfast for some of the biggest names in Bitcoin, including Eric Trump on Thursday. And I started realizing that the money that we have in our country today, which is the US dollar, is manipulated by the Federal Reserve. It's manipulated by incompetent politicians. It's manipulated by corruption. And it's something that ultimately has lost value since 1970 when we went off the gold standard. And it's literally almost been like a straight line down. And it constantly gets more dollars printed, which is inherently inflationary and it hurts the average American. It hurts the average human being. And Bitcoin is the people's money. It doesn't, no politician can affect it. But the Bitcoin belongs to the people that basically own Bitcoin. And it's inherently the soundest money ever created. So as I started looking into it, I started realizing this is for the first time the greatest form of digital freedom and the greatest form, a greatest asset you can have as a human being, not just as an American, as a human being. And now we're seeing Bitcoin being adopted by countries, by corporations being put on their balance sheet. It's really, it really is the greatest money ever created. It is the hardest money ever created.
That had to be something. And of course, looking at that in the future as well. And you also been in real estate as well, too. And you got quite a number of projects going on with real estate.
I do. We're doing the largest commercial note backed by Bitcoin, staked by Bitcoin for $105 million for a real estate project that involves real estate, single family homes that are being built, manufactured homes. And it's also for a golf project called Golf Suites. So yeah,
Mm.
that's a project that I'm proud of. We created the first and largest commercial note for real estate that is backed by Bitcoin, where Bitcoin holders can get paid their yield or their interest in Bitcoin on these loans, on these commercial loans.
Okay. And plus, you also had some influencers as well. You also had some leaders, celebrities, and basically getting involved in the movement, crypto, and everything else. And this also leads you to, hosting dinners and everything else. That and tell us about your ventures and what got you into hosting dinners anyway.
So I do not only dinners, but I do lunches and breakfast. So on Thursday of this week, I've got a private breakfast I'm hosting. And I learned a long time ago, actually not too long, like 2017, I learned over time that when I spoke on stages, I started realizing that the people in the audience that I'm speaking to, most of the time while I'm talking, they're looking on their iPhone, checking their TikTok or Instagram or email or text messages, and they're not paying attention to me. There might be 3,000 people in the audience, but I'll be lucky if 10 of them are paying attention to me. The other 2,900 are sitting there playing with their iPhone or Android. And when you go to dinner with somebody, when you fill a room full of people at a dinner, people engage with each other, they network with each other, they put their phone away, they get distracted, and they make real valuable connections. And that's why when I started realizing that, I started realizing I'd rather be in a room with the right people at the right time. And I guarantee you, when you're in the right room with the right people at the right time, things happen. I call that the magic. That's when the magic happens. Connections are made that ultimately help you level up in business and in wealth and in fitness and all the areas of your life. Because you make the right connection with the right person, it can help you level up dramatically.
And plus, with all the world class meals that you have, maybe some of the dishes that you guys have served up over the years. And I thought you'd be a cook. You'd be a great cook, by the way, Chris.
I'll be honest with you, I love to cook. About 8 years ago, I learned a ton about nutrition, about what you put in your body. And I realized you got to be very focused and aware of what you put in your body. And if I have a choice of going to a restaurant or making food in my home, I love cooking. I literally just bought a chuck roast the other day, and I'm going to test out a new recipe for basically a stew, chuck
Mm.
stew. Put some nice vegetables in there, some beef broth, some French onion. Yeah, I'm gonna really knock it out of the park. Put some Parmesan on it when it's all said and done. Get some basil, chop it up, a little basil on the end as a topping. Yeah, I love cooking. I love cooking not so much because I enjoy the process of cooking, which I do, but I enjoy knowing what exactly is in my meal so I can ultimately put the things in my body that my body needs. Like, for example,
Hmm.
my body doesn't need salt. And I watch how much salt I put in my food, probably none, because most food has some salt in it already. And it's funny because when you go out to a restaurant, chefs love to put salt on everything, and they think salt is flavor. I don't think it is. I think there's a lot of flavor that you lose by putting too much salt in your food.
Or they do that so it can make you buy more drinks too, like wine, brew,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Coke and all that. It's like they do all the time. Pour a lot of salt in, make you drink more, buy more, and that's how they make money. I think that was the secret why they put so much
Well, I
salt
got
in
news for
it.
you. Why do you think they put salted pretzels on the bar? You
Oh
drink.
my gosh, yes. It's like I've noticed that. My dad works as a bartender, and he said that was a trick to making more sales and everything. Put more salt in, engage, and get them to drink more, buy more, everything like that. So yeah, salt's got some good products too, I gotta say.
And here's the thing. Salt in moderation is good, but if you get a lot of salt in your diet, it's going to cause high blood pressure. It's going to affect your internal veins, your organs, the whole nine yards. So at the end of the day, you got to be careful. Too much salt, too much sugar are bad for your body.
And certainly as well too. And you also have a guy basically who we'll be talking about soon to release Win the Day, living a successful sober life, and drawing the experiences from your grandmother as well. Get to more of that with Chris Champion. Listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mostly Missing, the Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based life of David, including 30 Quiz of Pains and King David Psalms, Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Would be back with multi-talented Chris Champion after this timeout. We're back to amazing multi-talent author Chris Champion with Mike Wagner's show. Before we get to Champion AI 2.0, his new venture, you got your book or soon be Win Today, which is a guide to living a successful, sober life while driving upon the bits of from your grandmother. So tell us more about the book. Win the Day.
So it's Win This Day. And
Win This Day. I'm sorry.
when I started going down the path of living a sober life, I started, it became challenging because when I first did it, I had to do it because I was under a lot of pressure from just things that I did that got out of control. And I went to a judge, and she gave me a choice: live a sober life and do the things that you're supposed to do in life, or spend 5 years in jail. So I said, "Wow, that's a hell of an offer. Let me try sobriety." And my first day, I started looking at sober living, and I said, "Holy shit, I gotta stay sober for 3 years." That was my probation. And I started looking at it. I'm like, 3 years. Wow, that's a challenge. And I said, all right, I gotta stay sober for at least a year. Let me get a year up. Then that looked challenging. Then I started breaking it down by 6 months. I'm like, that looked challenging. Finally, I said, okay, listen, let me stay sober today. Let me just try today. And I did today. And then the next day came, and I said, all right, yesterday's gone. I'm going to try and do it again today. And then I did it that day. And I started realizing that if I focused on things by a daily basis, I could literally put them in a row, and I can start living a winning mindset. Because when you start winning each day, when you win this day and then tomorrow you win the next day and you keep winning, you change your mindset. You get a winning mindset. You think that you're a winner because every single day you're accomplishing your goal, in my case, of staying sober. And so at the end of the day, I started realizing that was a winning mindset. And after I stayed sober for 3 years, I've now been sober for 16 years. I've applied that same mentality, not just to not drinking, but to achieving anything I want in life. And when you start living your life like that, where you're focused on just winning this day, doing what you need to do this day to achieve your goals, that mindset ultimately changes everything in your life, and it changes it for the better.
Mm-hmm. And of course, your big influence is your grandmother as well, and also having faith in God too.
Yeah, I got a book coming out called Faith Matters, and a lot of it deals with faith in God, but 80% of the book deals with having faith in yourself also. And I think in this world we live in right now, people need to have faith in themselves. They need to know that God made them to be great, that greatness is your destiny. You were born to be great. God wants you to be great. Every single morning when you wake up in bed, God's sitting there at the end of your bed with a bag of popcorn, and he's clapping. He's like, Mike, I can't wait to see what you do today. Mike,
Oh,
I made you to be great. Mike,
popcorn. I rather have pizza, but that's okay.
well,
Popcorn's one of my favorites. All
maybe
pizza.
he's eating a slice of pizza. One bite, that's all you get. But when you're in the bathroom, you're brushing your teeth. God's sitting there with a slice of pizza. He's going, Mike, today you are going to crush it. I can't wait to see what you do today. And people have to understand, God's belief and faith in us is here. But in many cases, our faith in ourselves is here. And in many cases, God believes that we are destined for greatness, but we literally short sell ourselves every single day. And once you start understanding that you have to have a little bit of faith, a lot of faith in yourself, that literally you were built to be great, then if your faith in yourself it matches what God's faith in us is, your life changes dramatically. Your life changes overnight. And I tell people all the time, faith matters. Faith in God matters. Faith in yourself matters. You have to have faith. And the difference between faith and belief is I think I can do this. Faith is I know I can do this. And that I always give people an example. You ever see the movie Indiana Jones where he's looking for the golden chalice?
Yes, I remember that.
It was with him and Sean Connery. So there's a scene where he gets to like this cliff and this thing, and it says, "You must take a leap of faith, or a walk of faith, or something like that." And he's looking, and he's like, "What the hell? There's a big cavern here. I can't walk." Then he looks back in the instruction booklet. He's like, "You must take a leap of faith or a walk of faith," something like that. And I think it's Harrison Ford. He's scratching his head. He thinks to himself, he's like, "I just have to have faith." And he realizes I have to have faith. So he literally stands up and he takes one foot forward, and boom, the foot somehow hits this invisible walkway, and he can't believe it. He's like, "Oh my God, I should be falling to my death." So he goes and grabs some gravel and he throws it forward, and the gravel he can see it outlines an invisible walkway that gets him to the other
Interesting.
side. And when he walks the way across it, he gets out there, and then sees this old knight in there with a bunch of chalices, and he's like, "You must choose wisely." And then he looks around, he's like, "Which would be the chalice that Jesus drank from?" And then the German Nazi guy chooses this gold fancy chalice, and that wasn't the one. He didn't choose wisely. He ended up burning up like a skeleton. And
I
Harrison
remember that one. Yes.
Yeah, so Harrison Ford finds the right one, and then he goes back across the invisible walkway, and he like gets a little cup of water, and he drinks it. He gets it to Sean Connery, his dad at that time, and he saves him from like being shot in the belly with a gun. But the one thing that I took from that movie was when Harrison took that walk forward, that leap forward, when his foot hit the invisible walkway. When he did that, he had to have faith. It's the only thing that allowed him to do that is that he had faith that God had a plan for him, that death was not the plan. And it literally takes a lot of faith. But when you have faith in yourself to take that one step where you can't see a walkway, you just have to have faith that it's going to be there, that God has a plan for you. That's the difference between belief and faith. Faith says, I know this is going to work out. Belief says, I think it's going to work out.
And I think that makes a big difference as well, too. And this leads you up to Champion AI 2.0, and tell us about your venture and how they got started.
Well, that's how you and I connected. I think AI agents are the best thing you can do to get work done for yourself. And these AI agents work 24 hours a day. So my team and I built a platform where AI agents literally work for our clients and do 40,000 man hours a day of work for our clients. And they get them booked on podcasts, which, believe me, podcast interviews are the best interview you can do. They are long format advertising. They stay up there forever. They're evergreen content, and it helps get your brand out there so that people know who you are, what you sell, what your product is. They get a chance to get to know you, they get to like you, they get the chance to hear your stories. And it's not like doing a 15 or 30-second commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right. And it's not the old days of a 30-minute ad you see on local TV, cable TV, weekend hours, 3 in the morning, and everything. And the reason why I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening is it's on 24/7, 365. Like you have breakfast in Vegas, you have lunch in London, you have dinner in Tokyo, or you can't sleep worth a darn in Anchorage, Alaska.
yeah, and at the end of the day, it's interesting too because podcasting has become so popular and it is growing like leaps and bounds. When we started building our database, we had we had like 3.6, 3.7 million podcasts last summer. Today we just updated our database and it's 4.375 million verified email addresses of podcasts.
Wow.
So podcasts are growing. Everyone's getting their own podcast so that they can literally build their own following and have their own media channel. And I think it's becoming more and more obvious that this space is becoming bigger every single day.
Mm-hmm. And in your opinion, what's the best advice to start a podcast for those who want to start a podcast? From your opinion, Chris, what's the best way to start a podcast, or how do you start a podcast?
I always tell people it gets started with just you deciding to grab a microphone and interviewing somebody. And it can be intimidating. It can be hard. And you're going to probably have to do 100 interviews, 100 podcasts before you get it right. but you got to be willing to invest in yourself. You got to be willing to take that chance. You got to have faith in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. And when it comes down to it, you just can't quit. And once you do it, you'll get better every single day. You got to focus on getting 1% better. If you get 1% better for 100 days in a row, you literally become fucking awesome.
That is so amazing as well, too. And what else do you guys provide in your Champions AI 2.0?
You know what? I'll let people find out for themselves. We got a lot of cool things that we're doing with AI. I'm going down to Florida to speak at the Futurist Conference, and my subject matter is AI or die. I believe that people have to find out a way to get AI to work for them, or they're going to be left behind by all the people that do get AI to work for them. And it's mission critical now for people to get AI to work for them because without that tool working for you, you are going to be way behind those who do.
And that's really important as well, too. And meantime, where can we find all your stuff? What's your website, and how do people reach you?
I think the easiest way to reach me is on YouTube, and my YouTube channel is I am Chris Champion.
Okay, and so you're a champion indeed. With a multi-talented Chris Champion, a champion AI 2.0, win this day and more here on the Mike Winter Show. Chris, a few more things. What else can we expect from you in 2026 and beyond?
You know, in 2026, we got a new product that we're adding to our platform called Champion AI Companion. And as long as your phone is nearby, and it's either an iPhone or an Android, it doesn't matter which one, you'll be able to talk to your companion, give it its own name, and literally tell your companion anytime you want them to do something for you, it'll do it. But the best thing that it'll do is it'll send text messages for you. Now, let me give you an example of something. When you use your two thumbs to send a text message, how many text messages do you send on a daily basis, would you guess?
Let's see, probably about I don't know, about 10, 20, 30, maybe 50 or something like that.
Imagine if you saved 30 seconds of 50 text messages every day because you didn't have to use these two things. And you could literally tell your agent, hey, send Mike Wagner a text. Let him know that I loved our podcast and send him my bio along with a link to the new products that we're coming out with. The AI will then reply, should I read you what I'm going to send Mike? And I'll say, no, just send it straight out to him. And the AI will send that text for me. Currently, that doesn't exist. But here's the beauty because I didn't have to use these two things, these two thumbs that I love dearly, I've
Mm-hmm.
probably saved about 30 seconds sending that message myself. Well, if you're doing 50 texts a day times 30 seconds, that's 25 minutes. That's a half hour a day. What if I save you a half hour a day times 30 days? Well, half hour a day times 10 days is 3 hours. Is that right? No, that's 5 hours. Times three, there's 15 hours a month. What could you do with an extra 15 hours a month? What could you do with an extra 180 hours a year?
That's a good point. I think everybody needs to think about it. So I think that's a really good point as well. And also, just another thing, who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
In my career?
Yes,
I got a couple
or
of them.
anything in general. Yes.
I think I got a couple of them. My grandmother is my biggest influence in life. She beat me with a wooden spoon, but she taught me so much about life at a very early age. And she was tough as nails. She was 88 pounds. She came here at the end of the Second World War. She worked three jobs to make a home and a life for ourselves. She taught me the discipline of hard work. And at the end of the day, a lot of the things that I've learned because of her. And she was an amazing woman. She did a lot for me as a child. Crazy thing is, as a child, I thought she hated me and wanted to kill me, but in reality, she wasn't hitting me that hard. She was just trying to teach me lessons.
There you go. And I think that's a really good point as well. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
That's a great question. I think the biggest thing that I've learned in life is you just can't quit. Too many people quit on themselves. Listen, you can quit a job. You can quit a bike race. You can quit, reading a book. But what you can't do in life, what you should never do in life is quit on yourself. You literally have to never quit. If you never quit at something, you may not be the best at it. You may not win, but I guarantee you, you will not lose. You will not be a loser. You will ultimately be better than you would have been had you quit on something. And you can never quit on yourself. And if you don't quit on yourself, you're literally going to build an unbreakable winning mindset. And it's that unbreakable winning mindset that will level you up in life in all areas of your life. And people will respect you because you didn't quit on yourself. So many people I look around in my life quit on themselves. They quit on their business. They quit on their marriage. They quit on their kids. They quit on their fitness. They quit on their life. And at the end of the day, you can't quit. Just never, ever fucking give up on yourself.
And I think that is the best advice out there as well. We're here at the multi-talented Chris Champion of Champion AI 2.0 and the soon to be released Win This Day and more here on the Mike Wagner Show. Chris, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase your books? Check out your wares and more.
They could just text me or call me at 702-389-5866. And yeah, I'm here for anybody that needs me.
Sounds great. We'll certainly do that. Once again, Chris, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Glad to have you back. We wish you all the best. And Chris, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Mike, you're doing a great job, buddy.